This is the regular meeting of the Mobile City Council, Tuesday, October 24th. Please stand for our invocation led by Dr. Buzz Wilcoxon of Spring Hill Presbyterian Church, and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let me begin by saying thank you for the invitation to be here with you and to offer this prayer. We pray for you all every week in worship, and this is an extension of that prayer that begins for us each week on Sunday. Let us pray. O God, our help in ages past, our hope for years to come, our shelter from the stormy blast, and our eternal home, we give you thanks this morning for our great city and for our leaders gathered here. As they consider the many matters that lie before them, we pray for the light of your wisdom to illumine their minds. We pray for the power of your truth to guide their words. We pray for your strength to uphold them, your peace to bind them together. Bless, O Lord, our wonderful city of Mobile with the joy that comes from serving others. Bless us with a unity that grows as we listen and learn from those who are different than ourselves. Bless us with prosperity that lifts up those in need and those who suffer. And bless us with the patience and humility to work together for the common good. This we ask in the name of our Creator, Sustainer, and Redeemer. Amen.
Would you all please stand back up? I'm sorry. We want to do a quick moment of silent prayer for the officer who was killed last week, Jeremy Franks. You probably saw that on the news. He was off duty, but he was killed in a car accident. So we just want to remember him and his family in a moment of silent prayer, if you would, please. Thank you very much.
Roll call. President Gregory.
Here.
Vice President Richardson.
Here.
Councilmember Manzi.
Here.
Councilmember Small.
Here.
Councilmember Williams.
Here.
Councilmember Daves.
Here.
Councilmember Rich.
Here.
Statement of rules.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good to see you here. Kind of a light crowd compared to what we've had in the last few weeks, but good to see those of you who are here this morning. Just very quickly, the rules of the council are very simple. We ask that you all turn off your electronic devices. If you come to the podium to speak, you will have 5 minutes. At the end of 4 minutes, you'll hear the buzzer, and that's your indication that it's time to begin wrapping up your comments. Please give us your name and address for the record. If you do have any questions, please address those to me. I'm the chair, and at that point, I will ask the appropriate member of the mayor's staff or the council to respond to you at that point. Again, thank you so much for coming. The mayor is not in town this morning. He is traveling, so if there are any questions for the administration, we will call on either the chief of staff or attorney to try to answer those at that point. So again, thank you so much for coming. Ms. Lambert.
Approval of minutes of October 17th.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Communications from the mayor's office.
Okay, nothing from the mayor's office.
Okay. Adoption of the agenda.
So moved.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Appeals. We have a request for a waiver of the noise ordinance on November 4th on Charleston Street.
So moved. Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Public hearings. Today is the public hearing to rezone property at 1610 Union Street, east side of Union Street, 643 feet south of Rochester Street, from R1 to B1.
This is a public hearing. If there's anyone in the audience who would like to speak to this particular rezoning, please come to the podium. Yes, ma'am?
Bush. I am the one who has made application for this process. I'm not sure if I need to speak this morning because I've spoken before at the previous meetings. And I just wanted to, say I'm praying that you all vote in my favor because I have literally jumped through hoops to try to make this happen. And, just trying to ask for consideration.
Sure. Like we said, you are more than welcome to come and speak. You don't have to, so thank you for coming. Any questions? Mr. Richardson told us this morning this is for a daycare, correct?
Yeah.
Any questions? Mr. Richardson?
I was just going to say that from the community, I have not received any opposition from the community. Therefore, I register no opposition.
Okay.
Do good.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you, ma'am. Go ahead. This public hearing is closed unless anyone else wants to speak to this particular rezoning. Okay, go ahead.
Public hearing to rezone property at 1625 Union Street, east and west sides of Union Street, 345 feet south of Rochester Street, from R1 to R3.
All right, this is a separate public hearing, so if there's anyone in the audience who would like to speak to this, please come to the podium.
Good morning, Council. My name's Christine Clolinger. My address, I just moved to 308 St. Louis Street down the road, so I'm thankful to be a member of City of Mobile.
All right.
Yeah, but here we go. Well, I'm here to represent Mr. Bush with Annie Mae's Gardens, and I know we spoke to y'all at the Planning Commission, but, I just wanted to reiterate, we have support within the community, we have a petition, we have numerous people asking Mr. Bush when he's open for business, and we think this assisted living facility is going to be a great asset to the community. Seniors in transition into more assisted living services will remain within their community with people they know, people they love. It'll be affordable, and everyone knows each other already, so it's a safe environment for them, and families can still be involved in the daily care. So are there any questions about the project?
Thank you. Any questions
I was
at all?
just
Mr. Richardson?
saying, Madam President, that the Bush family is a pillar in the Trinity Gardens community. You don't have no opposition. We're waiting on you to open up.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Anyone else in the audience who would like to speak to either of these, feel free to come on down. All right, with that, then the public hearing is closed.
Presentation of petitions and other communications to the council. Nicholas Kidd.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Nicholas Kidd. I reside at 1035 Cherokee Street, Mobile, Alabama 36605. I made every attempt to be as cordial as I can. I think you all would probably agree in doing things in a positive and efficient way. I left some things for you to read, but I just want to read this morning. It says, Dear Council and Mayor, the question I have this morning is how is it that the City of Mobile can give away millions of dollars in incentives to commercial developers for luxury apartments and shopping malls, but absolutely refuse to assist or help nonprofit entities that represent the black community? The efforts to educate and lift those that we in the black community hold dear to our hearts are blatantly ignored, and the rich continue to get richer, and the poor or less fortunate are left to fend for themselves. One Mobile quote is a very crafty campaign slogan, just like Make America Great Again. The only problem I have with both of these phrases is which ones in Mobile and what part of America do we intend to make great? I have asked for transparency and open communication with the city's legal department regarding a property on the NRP list to no avail. The organization that I lead, Compassion in Action, works very diligently with the Mobile Police Department SCORE program, the Mobile County Juvenile Courts NEST program, as well as other groups within the city towards effective change, particularly regarding the black youth in our various black communities. I intentionally highlighted black youth in black communities because these are the least of these. I refuse to beg, but I continue to demand that the black community receive the same level of support as every other community in this great city. Say what you will, this city is still split straight down the middle between black and white. The soccer fields are lit up every night at Sage Park, but the basketball court is pitch black. I implore the mayor and the council to please stop the politics and serve every community within the city of Mobile as you were elected and pledged to do. I understand the importance of economic development, but I feel human development is equally of greater importance. I love you all. I just want to say this whole thing stems around one particular property on Ralston Road that the city's legal department is very much aware of, that I stated before when I was here that it was told to me by City Attorney Ricardo Woods because I applied for this property. Now I'm getting bombarded with these notices of violations. I have 8 properties in the city. I'm not a slum lord. I'm buying properties to, again, refurbish them, bring them up so we can reserve housing stock, create job opportunities. But there's one particular property, and it's on the record, and the city attorney knows what I'm speaking of, the mayor's office knows. It's one that they decided, since it generated so much interest, that they would put it out for competitive bidding. I'm trying to figure out why last week when I rode by this same property on Ralston Road, we had 3 city trucks cutting down trees. But we'll tell people over in the hood that we don't have money to demolish these homes, even when they've been cleared for nuisance abatement. So I'm just kind of really, what I'm asking is through divestiture that the city grant us this property. Because we look at, just like what was attached with that article, we giving away, I mean, tens of millions of dollars. We basically paying for renovations at Bel Air Mall. And I get that. I mean, I know it's a business deal that we want to increase sales tax and all, but I'm asking, when are we gonna get any kind of skin in the game? I'm just asking for a little old house over there on Ralston Road. Give me fair play, because we're giving away tens of millions of dollars to other people. So I'm just, through divestiture, I'm asking the city to grant us that property so I can keep these young boys working. I can keep these drug addicts and alcoholics, recovering drug addicts and alcoholics that I work with, keep them employed. But when are we gonna get anything? So we find the best house on the neighborhood renewal program list, and we say, oh, it generated a lot of interest, so we're gonna put it out for competitive bidding. I can't compete with any developer, so the rich will continue to get richer, and the less fortunate will get absolutely nothing. So I'm here again. I'm going to keep coming back. I'm going to keep coming back, but until I can sit down with the mayor and with the city's legal staff, because we've been totally ignored. And I'm going to keep coming back because right now I see total neglect. If it was some junk over on Live Oak or down a Chicopee that was falling over to the side of the road, it wouldn't be put up for competitive bidding. They just say, oh yeah, you can have that because it's junk. But the jewel that they have on the list, now we want to put that out for competitive bidding. And I'm still trying to figure out why these city trucks, and I have pictures. And I know my time is up, Council President, but I'm going to keep coming back until I get a meeting with the mayor and a meeting with the city legal department, because this is absolutely ridiculous. We will never get ahead if we keep going like this.
Thank
we
you,
will
Brother
never
Wood.
get ahead.
Appreciate you coming, and I think I can speak for the entire council that we applaud the efforts that you are making in the community. You're hiring young people who need job skills. You're hiring people who are unemployed and putting them to work and making changes in improvements in these communities. So I think I can speak for all of us and applaud your efforts for doing that, and thank you. I do want to turn to the city's legal attorney, Mr. Woods, and I know you have spoken with him, and he told us during our pre-conference meeting today that he has been in contact with you. So Ricardo, if you would, but I do want to urge both you and the legal staff, if y'all could get together and chat about these things and see if there's something that can be worked out, I think that would be great. I know you purchased other homes in the community, and this home has been put on the market, as I understand it. So maybe there's a way that we can work together, but this council doesn't have the authority to do that. While we applaud what you're doing and we understand what you're asking for, that is not within our scope of responsibility or authority. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and turn it to Mr. Woods.
Thank you, Madam President. Let me address the issue of 2872 Ralston Road. First and foremost, I've returned each and every one of Mr. Kidd's phone calls when he's contacted me directly. I've talked to him numerous times face to face, including this morning briefly, including last time he came to speak. So I've engaged him each and every time. So to say that I've ignored him is a tad bit inaccurate. Second, we have guidelines for neighborhood renewal that were adopted by this council a number of years ago. And this council, this city, this administration, we're not able to give away a thing of value without some consideration. And one of the good instances is the council, during your vacations, you all put in a policy in place where there is actually a thing of value exchanged. Economic development goes through a different state statute totally. We don't operate under that state statute. We're created by the city of Mobile. As far as 2872 Ralston Road, Madam President, that property, the city has about $14,000 in it, and that is made up of approximately $8,936 that are due in back taxes to the county, or to the state rather, and there's the $5,374.50 that we actually put in time and effort in making sure that we went through the expedited quiet title. If we were to give away, even though many times with nonprofits, we sell the property at a loss, $2,500, just to get them back on the rolls. If we were to do that each and every time, then the program that you all have supported that puts these properties back on the roll would have ended years ago. That's just not something that we do. But this property in particular, it's about $14,000 tied up in it. We put it out to a realtor to be transparent, to be fair, so that everybody has the same opportunity to get it. There's a lot more activity going on with this property than we would normally have. That's truly stated. This is not a black or white issue. Contrary to Mr. Kidd's statements dealing particularly with this property, I have no problem whatsoever supporting a black nonprofit. Do so on a regular basis. And so neither this is administration and neither this is council. And I think you've shown that you're able to do so time and time again. What we're going to do and what we've already done is put this out for bid on the open market to try to recover the funds and put the property back into the neighborhood to be renewed. At any point in time, Mr. Kidd wants to ask me questions, I'm more than available to answer those questions. The problem is Mr. Kidd doesn't like my answers, and I get that. I understand that. He's fully able to disagree with them and come down here and in front of this council and make a commotion about it and have free speech. That is part of the process. We don't mind that. What will not happen is because he makes so much noise, we change our progress and change our procedures just because he's doing so. And let me point this out in closing. When Mr. Kidd made an application for this property, he made an application as Nicholas Kidd. He attached a number of things with the nonprofit, but his application was not for Compassionate Action. When he came to speak to this council last time, I told him to turn in a new application because nonprofits do get priority. The real problem here is wanting special treatment, wanting us to give him a property when there was no application on file by a nonprofit to actually get the priority. That happened. That's accurate. Thank you, Madam President.
All right. Brother Kidd, I think you've heard from Mr. Woods. Any other council members have discussion or questions?
I
Mr.
do,
Small?
Madam President.
Go ahead.
Two questions to the city attorney, Mr. Woods. One, these properties, is it always competitive bid out when 2 or 3 people are interested? And the second question is there any truth that City Trucks was at this particular property cleaning up the property itself?
I'll answer those in reverse order. There is no reason for me to disbelieve that there were city trucks there. We do have bills for making sure that we secure the property. The reason for that is this property was purchased by the city by tax deed using expedited quiet title. So that's a regular occurrence that we secure our own properties. We don't want to contribute to blight as owners. Your first question about being able to send these things out to a realtor, not the first time this happened, not at all. Is it regularly done? No, it's an irregular occurrence because most of the time we don't have this much interest. But if we do have multiple parties that are interested in properties, we do send them out to realtors. Not the first time that we've done this at all.
Yeah. And I am aware that when it is under the neighborhood renewal program, because I have several ones on Marine Street, that the city does go by and do clean up the properties and and stuff because the park department, if I'm not mistaken, do go by and cut the yard and everything. So I am aware of that, but as far as them being competitive, that was kind of new to me, but thank you.
All right, any other questions? Mr. Richardson?
I don't have any question. But I have a question for Ms. Woods. The issue was raised that we give property away, especially in the bottom, and then you come over in these other communities, we put them up for sale. But in some neighborhoods, we give property away. Are we giving property away?
I'd be surprised if Mr. Kidd could name one property that we've given away. We cannot give away anything of value without some exchange of value. What we do is give priority to nonprofits, $2,500. That is the set number we typically will deal with nonprofits. So we deal with a number of different nonprofits, MLK, Restore Mobile, all of those. And they get priority under our program.
Is there a list anywhere of properties that, city properties that nonprofits can make application for?
Yes, sir. As you in this council are well aware, there is an open list. That list is readily available to the public for anybody to go to where they can look at and say, these are the properties.
And Mr. Kidd and his nonprofit organization can apply, can, make it known that they would have an interest in acquiring any of these properties?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, that's all I'm going to say about that.
And I have I'm sorry.
Go
You
ahead.
finished?
On that, I want to talk about, he raised the issue about the basketball goal.
Oh, okay. Let me piggyback on what you were asking. You said there's more interest. Is there more interest in this as opposed to maybe some of the other houses on our list because this one's in better shape?
Probably so. It is in better condition and is in a good prime location for development. And so we're going to naturally have more interest. People are calling on a regular and daily basis. That doesn't happen with many of our properties. Many of our properties we get multiple calls on, but not nearly as much interest as this one.
But Mr. Kidd, through his nonprofit, would also get the same priority status as any of the other groups?
He would have gotten that nonprofit had he submitted that application prior to all of this, but we have already put it out for open bid. That was back in January, I think he submitted the first application. And so we didn't actually acquire the property as a city until about September, end of August, early September. And so when we got an application on file, it read Nicholas Kidd, and it did not read the name of the nonprofit, even though the nonprofit information was attached to it.
You lying, sir.
Mr.
You're lying.
Kidd,
You're lying.
Brother
You're
Kidd, I'm
lying.
sorry.
You're lying.
You have to address.
Mr. Kidd. Yes.
And then that way we don't have.
Yeah, I think at this
You're
point,
lying. You're
Brother
lying.
Kidd, please have a seat. We're trying to go through this and get our questions answered, and that kind of a response from the podium is not going to help. No, Mr. Kidd?
Madam President?
Go ahead.
I'm done.
Okay, all right.
Unless you have other questions for me.
I have
Any other
one.
questions on
Yes.
any of that? I think Mr.
I
Richardson
have
wanted to
one-
speak to
one other-
another topic that Brother
Yeah,
Kidd brought
but I
up.
want to ask one other one.
Go ahead.
When the nonprofits file their paperwork with your expressing interest in a particular piece of property, are they required to put any ethnicities on the form?
Mr. Richardson, I have to check the form, but I don't think so.
Because the issue was raised that people of one ethnicity is having some advantage over some with a different ethnicity. That should not even be on the form.
I don't think that's on the form, Mr. Richardson.
Okay. Okay.
I'm fairly certain, not to mention, maybe people hadn't noticed, but I happen to be of one particular ethnicity. And I just,
Just want to put it out.
we would not put up with such dealing with this program, nor with this
Okay.
council.
Okay, just want to get that out there, because the issue was raised.
Yes,
The
sir.
last thing,
go
Madam
ahead.
President, I want to
Go
talk about Sage Park. I'm going to say, first of all, the basketball goal was a vision of Fred Richardson. I believe that every sports park in this city ought to have a basketball goal, because it's cheap. It's not like soccer where you got to have this, that, and others. No, just take the ball up there and play. That's all we got to do. You take the ball. I believe every sports park in this city ought to have a basketball court there. Well, in my district, I had a sports park, Herndon Sage Park, but I didn't have a basketball goal. And that park is over 50 years old. So I had the mayor to meet me up there. Told him that I wanted a basketball goal. So we walked the park over, we didn't find any space, plus we didn't have any money. The money that we used for the basketball court came from the county. City didn't spend one dime on that. I shared with Commissioner Ludgood my vision of having a basketball court at Sage Park. She put the money up there. And I told Matt Stimson, since I have the money and we don't have nowhere to put it in the parking lot. Where they had trees out there. Move the trees and tell the public Fred Richardson moved them. Move the trees. We moved the trees and put the basketball court up. It's the hottest sport event in the city of Mobile. You can ride by there at 10 o'clock at night. They're playing basketball. The issue of the lights, my first goal was to put the basketball court up there. I got it up there. Then I was going to need me put no lights up there. First of all, I didn't know where we was going to put it, but now it's time for lights. I've already made the application for lights. I got the engineering department figuring out where they're going to put the lights, how it's going to go. We will have lights this year. Lights coming. But we got to give the engineering department time to figure out where they're going, what it costs and all of that. I find the money to put the lights up there. So it has nothing to do with ethnicity. It has to do with first getting the money from the county to put that basketball court up there, now come back and put lights up there for the kids to play. That's going to happen. I just want everybody to know we will have lights up there.
All right. Anybody else? All right, Ms. Lambert.
Velma Jackson.
Ms. Jackson?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm here again. I come in the name of Jesus. I must say that I don't know why this needs to be said, but I'm just here to say it. So I can't apologize. I just have to speak it. I have two topics that I'm here to speak on today. The first one is the Gulf Quest Maritime Museum. This museum faced so many obstacles. There was delay after delay, more money, so much money. But finally it was finished and opened its doors. Then more opposition. After only 2 years, it was facing closure and declared as a failure. What is this museum that the enemy is fighting so hard against it? It is a magnificent building sitting on the river. It is the spirit of Mobile, not a business for profit. It is the Metropolitan Museum of Mobile that will bring people to Mobile. No admission, donations only, which puts no limit on the value. Someone had a vision for this museum. They should be the only ones to declare it as a failure. The second issue is the Confederate monuments in Mobile. While other cities were removing their monuments, Alabama quickly passed a law to protect our monuments. Let us tell the truth concerning these Confederate monuments. This Confederacy fought against our government to destroy our great democracy. Where is the honor in that? You as leaders in this country can no longer stand and pledge allegiance to our country while allowing hate to exist disguised as an organization. Anyone who supports the Confederacy should not be allowed in this country. In the words of Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., no lie can live forever. One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We are in a state of unconsciousness. You as leaders cannot accept anything without asking the question why. I thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Jackson.
All right, I was here before. I asked a question about what, I didn't give my address, did I?
Did you not give your address?
I know.
Well, how about giving us your address? And I think we probably know, but go ahead.
So that's presenting my question. Why is it necessary to give our address when given?
Because we do it for the record. That is the council's policy. We need your address and name and address for the record,
Why?
so that we have it, so that we know how to
Instead of
get in
ask
touch
why.
with
We
you.
do things, but we never ask why. Why is that necessary? What's the purpose?
We may need to get in touch with you.
Well, you need to ask the why. Thank you.
All
I'm
right,
Velma
thank
Dale
you.
Jackson, 1552 J Drive, Mobile, Alabama.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. All right, Ms. Lambert.
Ordinance is held over 64034 rezone properties at 5803, 5809, and 5811 O'Shell Road from B2 and R2 to B2 Lot A and R1 and R2 to R3 Lot B.
So move.
Second.
Discussion?
Yes.
Mrs. Rich?
I don't know if there's anyone in the audience, if they want to just come down, introduce themselves.
Hello, my name is Paul Davis. I'm the architect on the project. My office is at 61 St. Joseph Street, Mobile.
Thank you very much. The council is holding the information that you provided to my office in regarding the landscaping, signage, exterior finishes, and you mentioned about the restaurant being limited in space on this development, basically because the city code has a certain parking lot formula, but you just spell that out so that my colleagues are also aware of that. I appreciate this extra attention to the construction and to the aesthetics of the program as far as being attached to the PUD. And I will be adding your letter for the staff to also look at the drawings and to be able to follow the project as you're going through construction for concurrence to this PUD. So thank you very much to everyone involved. I know it took us a while to get to this point, and I'm most appreciative.
Well, I appreciate the feedback we got and helping me understand how to make it clear our intent.
Right.
Because sometimes drawings are hard to understand, and I appreciate that opportunity to sort of clarify those questions.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right,
you very
thank you.
much.
All right, appreciate it. Any other discussion?
Do I need to offer an amendment to this PUD, or I'll take my lead from our council attorney, or?
Here's Bert.
Bert Hoffman, Planning and Zoning. I just want to point out that the PUD actually applies to the existing apartment buildings. It does not apply to
So
the...
how do I get this attached to the development? It doesn't change any of the use. It talks about a monument sign, landscaping, and finishes to the building.
Well, under a rezoning, it's not a site plan specific approval. And I would defer to your council regarding any attachment of
Okay.
conditions you may wish to have on the
Okay.
rezoning aspect for the commercial site.
Right.
So what I suggest is move to adopt the ordinance subject to
Those
a
conditions.
condition being compliance with what you will attach.
They are voluntary.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
The word voluntary is going there.
The applicant submitted it.
Yes, very much so. I was very cautious of that. Okay. All right, then I will make an amendment to this rezoning that attaches these voluntary conditions to the PUD
Yes, as a condition of the rezone.
of the rezoning. Okay. Oh, I see what you're saying. That, right, in order to get the rezoning, these conditions are now required. Okay.
Second.
All right, the amendment has been seconded. Any discussion on the amendment? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Now we are back to the original one as amended.
It includes all three.
Yes, it includes them all, right? Just one amendment will do. with all those conditions? Yes.
Okay, so
Okay.
moved.
All right. Second, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
64039, delay enforcement of the masking requirements for parking lots located in the downtown development district.
So moved.
Second. I'd like to make an amendment to this ordinance, changing the date, reference from the 1 in December to May 31st, 2018.
Second.
All right, there's an amendment on the floor to change the date. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Then we are back to the original ordinance as amended. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Resolutions held over. 60613, authorize longevity pay for eligible full-time uniformed firefighters and ALS paramedics.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? I think this is one that the entire council can stand behind. As you all know, we talked about this during our budget process, trying to make sure that the longevity pay for our firefighters and ALS paramedics were included in the budget. We had the mayor's word, we had Chief Barber's word, he even put his job on the line, and we are happy to say that he is still employed. But what we also wanted to do was make sure that we had a little bit more official language, and we were able to do that through a resolution that we had to lay over for several weeks. And now it is the date certain that we had laid it over until. So I will open the floor up for discussion on this. And Tony, good to see you here today. All right, anyone?
Yes.
Mrs. Rich?
Thank you so much. In last year's budget cycle, I was under the impression that longevity pay would be given to our fire department, people that qualified, and it was based on seniority, number of years that people were employed and had dedicated their lives to our city. And it was granted and given and programmed for the police. And like I said, I was under the mistaken impression that because of parity, it would automatically happen through the other arm of public safety, which is our fire department. That was not the case, and this year in our budget cycle, when we received it, again, I was dismayed not to see it initially in there, although pledges were made. And I do believe people are good with their word, but at the same time, as a council member, when you look at the budget, you really have to see the numbers, because that's your opportunity at that time within the fiscal year. And I thank the administration. I thank our chief of staff / director of finance for doing double duty to make sure that this is an appropriate and the right thing to do. And again, I thank everybody throughout our city for their service, and particularly is endeared to the public safety officials who put their lives on the line for us every single day. And their seniority means a lot to the people that I represent, because they're bringing their expertise that took them a long time to get to that point, to have 20 and 25 years of service, even 5, 10, and 15. And it also helps with the idea that when we are increasing salaries, because we had such a low entry point, that you don't want someone who has 5 and 10 years experience making less than an individual who just got on the force. They're valuable, but again, that seniority is extremely valuable to our community. So again, I thank everyone involved in the process, and appreciate the council also being 100% behind this as well.
All right, anyone else? Mr. Richardson?
Yes, ma'am. Madam President, I would like to commend Councilmember Rich for being unrelenting in getting something in writing that our firefighters would get uniform pay. And I would also like to commend every member of this council for standing firm on our first responders being paid uniformly. I think it's important, and this council stood firm on that. I think that's what we should do and what we should have done. And I think it's a great day for firefighters. It's a great day.
All right, anyone else? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations, officially. All right, Ms. Lambert?
4640, declare the structure at 111 North Pine Street a public nuisance in order repaired or demolished.
So moved.
Second.
Before we begin discussion, I will ask David Doggenbaugh if you'll just come to the podium. We have already been through the information on this, but since we laid it over, I want to ask David if he will just give us a brief description of what we are looking at today before we vote. Just one more time to refresh everybody's memories.
Yes, David Dockenbaum, Municipal Enforcement. And this property is a residential property located at 111 North Pine Street. It is located within a historic district. The structure currently has these conditions, which are fire damaged, roof damage, compromised exterior walls, foundations that's compromised, and due to the compromised roof, we have water that's penetrating into the structure. And notice has been sent to the owner of record, which is Mina Enterprise LLC, with also additional notice sent to McLeave Denson Shields LLC based on a recorded lien. Because of these conditions that render the building unsafe and dangerous to the public safety, health, or welfare, Municipal Enforcement is requesting that the council declare this a public nuisance.
Okay, and we're also adding language from here on out. Not only is it a public nuisance, but it is also a blighted property, and that will begin appearing in all of these requests that we have to declare them nuisance and order them repaired or demolished. All right, open it up for discussion. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
21673, authorized contract with McCrory and Williams for surveying and consulting services to assist the engineering department.
So move.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
21674, authorized contract with LTS Development Group for nuisance abatement demolition with lead-based paint, Kentucky Street, Crenshaw Street, Levine Road.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
21675, authorized contract with Thomas Roofing, doing business as Thomas Industries for parapet wall waterproofing on Government Street.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Ordinance is being introduced for the first time, 64040 through 64041.
By council rules, these ordinances will be laid over for 1 week.
All right.
Consent resolutions being introduced for the first time, 37679 through 58684.
Motion for the suspension of the rules for immediate consideration of said resolutions.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
There's no objection, I'll take the first two together.
That's fine.
37679 and 680 are recommending approval to the ABC Board for issuance of a nonprofit tax-exempt license for the Fuse Project in Cooper Riverside Park and for a nonprofit tax-exempt license for 2017 One Night in Havana on 5th Street.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
58, 81, 82, 83, and 84 are declaring weeds noxious group and assessing costs for removal of weeds. Groups 1570, 1571, repeat weed lien group number G11, and group 1564.
So move.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
CIP resolutions being introduced for the first time, 21685.
Motion to suspend the rules for immediate consideration of resolution 21685.
Second, discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
21685, authorized contract with Neil Schaefer for sidewalk improvements along Dolphin Island Parkway.
So move.
Second.
Discussion,
Yes, Madam President.
Mr. Small?
This contract that is before us today is the design phase of trying to connect sidewalks along the south end of DEIP. Is the citizens' desire to connect the sidewalks for easily travel for pedestrians between all these schools, Gilliard, Pillings, and BC Rain, and also for the bus transit commuters. I'd like to thank the Peninsula Group for we be moving forward. This contract will probably, the design phase will last up to 6 months to be completed, and looking forward to do the work itself. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Resolutions being introduced for the first time, 09686 through 21689.
By council rules, said resolution will lay over for 1 week.
Call for public hearings, 41690. Call for public hearing to rezone property at 1016 Hillcrest Road, west side of Hillcrest Road, 575 feet north of Johnston Lane, extending to the north side of Johnston Lane, 350 feet west of Hillcrest Road. Scheduled November 21st. 41691. Call for public hearing to consider assenting to the vacation of a right-of-way on the south side of Old Shell Road, west of Alverson Road, and north of Monk Avenue. Scheduled November 21st.
So moved.
Second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Announcements.
I'll start on my left with Mr. Manzi.
Thank you, Madam President. I want to announce tonight at 6 o'clock at the Mount Olive Missionary Baptist Church, 409 Lexington Avenue. We will be working with Mr. Jamie Roberts to host a housing rehab workshop. Citizens can come out and hear about the various grants available through our Neighborhood Development Department, CDBG, federal resources to rehab their respective houses. I want to make a note, though, that owner-occupied rehabs are income restricted to low to moderate income residents. The city has a blight reduction program that is not income restricted, but the property has to have already been identified on the annual blight survey to be eligible. But just to get right on down to it, the vast majority of properties eligible for any of these programs are going to be located in CDBG census areas. And so I just wanted to get that word out just in case you happen to live in a community that's outside these parameters. You probably could be doing something else tonight besides coming out to Mount Olive Church, and I want to give you that heads up. But if you fit these parameters, we look forward to, or if you're just interested in learning more about how government works, then come on out tonight at 409 Lexington Avenue at 6 p.m. Thank you, Madam President.
All right, thank you. Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Madam President. I simply want to thank the fire department, Chief Seeley, and all those who were involved in the Citizens Academy. There was a graduation ceremony last night, which I was delighted to attend. And it was during that ceremony, or right before, that I was looking at pictures on the wall. And several years ago, in the very first class of the police, or excuse me, of the Fire Rescue Citizens Advisory, or let me back up, Citizens Academy, that I saw my colleague, Miss Rich, as a graduate. And I just tell her that she was missed yesterday. It was passed out last night that anyone who is a graduate is always welcome to come back and attend any function of the fire department whatsoever, including rappelling and fighting the mock fires. So just wanted to make sure that you understood that invitation. It was just a great night last night, and I look forward to this week especially. There's several neighborhood meetings, including my very own, and I would just remind everyone that I don't do community meetings, but I will be at every community meeting that I'm invited to. And so if there is a need, I will show up individually. If it is a bigger issue, a community issue, then call the community meeting and call me and I'll be there. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Daves.
Thank you, Madam President. I would just like to remind everybody of the District 5 community meeting 2 weeks from today at 6 o'clock p.m. at which is November 7th at St. Pius X Catholic Church on South Sage Avenue. We expect to have Mayor Stimpson, Public Safety Director Barber, and Public Services Director Harkins there that evening. And so I urge all residents of District 5, and really any residents of the city of Mobile who'd like to attend are welcome. And again, it's 2 weeks from today at 6 o'clock p.m. St. Pius X Catholic Church on South Sage Avenue, which is between Imogene and Airport. Thank you.
All righty. Ms. Rich?
Thank you very much. On Thursday, this coming Thursday, the 26th, there'll be a meeting out at the Connie Hudson Senior Center at 6:30. This meeting initially started by residents in the Carriage Hills neighborhood who are concerned about an uptick in public safety crime issues in their neighborhood. I understand the word has spread about this meeting, and so others along the Hillcrest corridor are more than welcome to attend. And again, at 6:30, Chief Batiste will be there, and members of his staff will actually lead the discussion and give statistics, perhaps ways to be proactive, talk about community watches, or whatever he feels is necessary for community information. Again, that's Thursday, Connie Hudson Senior Center at 6:30. On November 5th from 11, which is a Saturday, 11 to 6 p.m., the Foundation for the Connie Hudson Senior Center will be hosting and featuring a vendors and kind of like a craft fair for people to come out and purchase wares. There'll be lunch fish plates for adults and child's plates of chicken fingers, I believe, and pictures with Santa, where the lady who will be doing these pictures is Morgan Joy Woodward, and I understand she has a following of people who like those kind of photographs and look forward to it annually, and she'll be giving some of her proceeds to the foundation. All the money that the foundation raises goes back into the facility. It is totally a volunteer organization. There are no paid staff members. So again, that's November 5th on a Saturday out at the center, and I look forward to people being there. Thank you very much.
All right, Mr. Richardson.
Thank you, Madam President. I would just like to say that on last Thursday, we had a grand meeting for the Tobinville community in the Tobinville Library. We had 81 persons in attendance, and in fact, we didn't have any more room for anybody else to be seated, but it was an outstanding meeting. We had Airbus representatives in the House, not only talking about current jobs that's available, but they have acquired another airline. They will be building more airplanes in the city of Mobile, and they talked about the great opportunities. So I polled the House and asked for everyone that was 25 and under to please stand. I had 3. I had the mothers and the grandmothers of those who needed a job. I was a little disappointed with that because I sent a notice to every home in the Tobinville area stating that I would have the Airbus representatives and Ulster representatives, and I would have Dr. Letitia McCain from Bishop State to talk about training people, getting them ready to go in and take these high-paying jobs. And all I can do is make the information available. And each time that I come to a community, I would have some company there offering jobs every time that I come. And I would have someone talking about training the workforce, where you can retool yourself and go and get one of these high-paying jobs. And the people were there with the jobs and with the training, but the people that need those jobs didn't show. I'm gonna put forth a greater effort, and I will keep on doing what I'm doing until I can reach those who need to be reached. I would like to announce that this council will start a new term on Monday, November 6th. That will be a public inauguration of the mayor and council at the Arthur R. Outlaw Convention Center at 6 o'clock. And the public is invited to come and be a part of this historical moment. I just want to make the public aware that you are invited to come. November 6th, Monday, 6 o'clock, Arthur Outlaw Convention Center. Thank you, Madam President.
All right, thank you, Mr. Richardson. Couple of announcements from District 7. We have 2 district meetings that have been set. The first is November 2nd. That will be at the Botanical Gardens. Starts at 6 o'clock. I have a number of guest speakers who will be lined up to come. Then on December 6th, that's my annual Christmas meeting at the Mobile Museum of Art. Again, we will provide gifts for the children at Wilmer Hall and bring proclamations for our public safety officers and neighborhood community action group members as well. I also just want to thank the Archdiocesan Council of Catholic Women who invited me to speak yesterday. I appreciate that. We had a good group. They represent all of the lower southern counties in Alabama. It was great to see some folks from Montgomery who remember me from my days up there. So great to see all of those ladies in town for this meeting. And also last week, I was a part of the news conference announcing that SSAB was bringing their executive headquarters down here. It was great to meet some of the folks from SSAB and talk about what they have in store. Looking forward to welcoming all of those executives from SSAB to Mobile. Lisa, do you want to, I just saw you conferring with Jim, do you want to say anything, update us all on, and Mr. Richardson brought it up. So this morning, Lisa came to several of us to provide us with some more information on the inauguration. That is coming on November 6th. We will have the evening ceremonial swearing in, as Mr. Richardson just mentioned, but law requires us to also meet during the morning to do some of those official things. So Lisa, if you wouldn't mind.
Correct. On November 6th at 10 a.m., the law states that we shall meet at 10 o'clock and the newly elected council, and you'll be officially sworn in at 10 o'clock. And you'll do your organizational meeting here at 10 o'clock that morning. So at 6 o'clock when we go to the convention center, this is more or less a ceremonial swearing in because you would have already been inducted at 10 o'clock that morning. But you will be sworn in again, and you can make any statements that you'd like at that time, at that meeting, but we won't have the organizational meeting that evening. We're gonna have it at 10 o'clock that morning.
Yeah, many of you have attended these in the past. So the council will come in, we'll be sworn in, as along with the mayor, and then we'll come and sit on the desk up here, and then we will conduct the first really official meeting of the new council at that point. And then that evening, we will have a ceremonial swearing in, along with some refreshments following the ceremonial swearing in. Joel, did you? Oh, yeah. And then the regular meeting will be the next day on Tuesday, yeah. In case there was any confusion about all of that. All right, anybody else?
Madam President.
Mr. Small?
I believe you skipped Joel Days and myself with announcements.
Did I skip you guys? I thought I had, I am sorry, CJ. I am, okay.
Yeah,
Mr.
just
Small,
say the best
floor
for
is
last,
yours.
that's all it is. But I'd like to say greetings to the citizens of District 3. I would like to thank the principal and the staff and the student body at Elizabeth Fundy Elementary School. They invited me out on last Wednesday to talk about the importance of voting. On last Thursday, they had the student council election with the officers of president, vice president, and treasurer. So I went on in Wednesday morning and talked to them about the importance of voting. It was very great, enthusiastic students that was very interested. It really had caught my attention and surprising that elementary school students was very interested in politics. I'd like to thank the principal again and the staff for inviting me out, and also thank the students and looking to go back to the inauguration of the president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer at the Elizabeth Fundy Elementary School. Also, the past 3 Thursdays of the month of October, I went throughout the whole district of District 3. The first Thursday, we started off at the Craighead Elementary School. The second Thursday was St. Monica Catholic Church. The last Thursday was the Gilroy Elementary School, and this coming Thursday will be Mertz Elementary School, located at 2815 Government Boulevard. We had sent out notice to every household in District 3, encouraging every resident to come to one of these meetings. Had 2 residents that actually came to 2 different meetings. But we're going throughout the district, getting the citizens' input on what they want to see as capital improvement projects in the future, and also seeking street captains for every street in District 3. So this coming Thursday, we mostly are focusing on the residents in the Pleasant Valley Road, Hallsmere Road, Navico Road areas. But if there are any resident that have skipped one of those meetings, you're more than welcome to come to Mertz Elementary School at 6:00 p.m. this coming Thursday. And we do start on time and we get out on time. And again, inviting all the citizens, especially ones that had denied come to, they had missed the last 3 Thursdays. We invited you this coming Thursday at Mertz Elementary School at 6:00 p.m. And remember that District 3 is the place where things are happening. Thank you, Madam President.
And just one follow-up, Mr. Small, Mr. Williams, and I also attended the Liberty Learning Foundation program last week at Davidson High School, and it was a tremendous event. All of these third graders from all around Mobile County were in the auditorium. They were shouting USA, and it was just terrific. It gave me chill bumps to see all of these kids in there doing this, learning about patriotism, learning about the Statue of Liberty. And of course, Miss Libby, as she's called, was terrific in helping these children understand what it's all about. So great program, and I look forward to continuing to support that program in the future. And Mr. Richardson looks like he's got one more as well.
Yes, ma'am, Madam President. I would just like to ask of the administration that you all would notify this council of any city property that's going to be put up for sale. If any city property is going to be put up for sale for any reason, we would like to know. We would like to know about that, because if citizens is going to allege any improprieties and we know it, then we would be responsible if we know. So I want to know. So if someone coming up speaking about it, I would already have the information in my hand. So if you have properties that you're going to put up for sale, wherever it is in the city, we would like to have a copy of that so we can see how it's advertised, because we need to put down any complaint of any improprieties, and information will help us do that.
And Madam President, thank you, Mr. Richards, for asking that question. Just in the in talking about the Ralston property, Madam President, I do have the documents to back up the statements that I made before this council. I stand by those statements, and I do stand by the employees who work in this program, and I'll provide these documents to the city clerk.
All right, thank you. All right, anyone else before we adjourn? All right, thank you. We're adjourned.